All right, we're going to talk more today about angles and parallel lines. Yesterday, talked about the relationships between angles when two lines are cut by a transversal. And today we need to, there's some rules that apply to those relationships. And here's what those rules state. So yesterday you just had two lines cut by a transversal. Today you're going to be working with these two lines again, line M and let's say it's line N. But M and N today are going to be parallel to each other. And this transversal is still T. All right. Now, here is a symbol that you'll see. If you see a red arrow on line M and a red arrow on line N, what that means is that M is parallel to N. And when M is parallel to N and it's cut by a transversal, these 8 angles have special relationships. So let's number these again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then if you got some room right here, let's say if M is parallel to N, then we're going to say corresponding angles are congruent. Corresponding angles are congruent. Alternate interior angles are congruent. Alternate exterior angles are congruent. And then consecutive interior angles sum 180 degrees. All right, so can anybody, let's kind of review and go over this at the same time. We're going to talk about corresponding angles first. And I'm looking at angle 1. If corresponding angles are congruent, what's an angle congruent to angle 1? 5, very good. All right. What's congruent to angle 2? See it? 2 and 6 are the same. right? Angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. And angle 3 is congruent to what? 7. All right. Alternate interior angles, they're congruent. So what angle is congruent to angle 3? Alternate interior. That's 3 and 5. Alternate sides of the transversal in the interior. Remember, this is the interior. You don't have to write it. You already wrote it yesterday. What's another pair of alternate interior angles that are congruent? 4 and 6. Very good. These two right here, 4 and 6. Alternate exterior angles. Those are congruent. Can anybody name a pair of alternate exterior angles? 1 and 7. Very good. What's the other pair? 2 and 8. Very good. All right. Those angles are congruent to each other. That means they're equal to each other. They have the same angle measure. And then consecutive interior angles sum 180. Consecutive interior angles sum 180. What that means is that angle 3 plus angle 6 equals 180. Consecutive interior, same side as the transversal, same side of the transversal on the interior. And then angle 4 plus angle 6, no, not angle 6. Angle 4 plus angle 5 is equal to 180. All right, so in your work today, you're going to be given some different pictures, and you're going to be asked to, use those rules to find the indicated variable. So let's take something like this picture here. With a transversal. And we're going to say that these are parallel to each other. The red triangle on there means they're parallel. And you're told that angle 4 equals 2x minus 17. This is angle 4, so it's 2x minus 17. Angle 1 equals 85 degrees. And you're asked to find explain your reasoning, find x, which means solve for x. All right, so here's what you got to know here. There's a couple of different ways to solve this problem. The first way, if this angle right here is 85 degrees, then this angle right here, these two are corresponding, right? This angle would be 85 degrees. They're corresponding angles, they're congruent. Now, do you see the relationship in these two angles? They form a line. And if they form a line, they're a linear pair. And a linear pair sum 180. So the way you would solve for x here would be to take 2x minus 17 plus 85 and make it equal to 180. So you would combine like terms, your 2x plus 68 equals 180. Subtract 68 from each side. So 2x would equal 112 and divide by 2. So your x would equal 56. Now, while we're here and we've got these other angles without a measure, let's fill in some angle measures. If this angle is 85 where the cursor is, we talked about vertical angles a couple weeks ago. These two angles where the cursor is bouncing are called vertical angles. They're formed by two lines and they're congruent. So this angle is 85 degrees. The black 85 and the red 85 are alternate interior angles. So they're congruent. And then this angle where the cursor is right now, it's a vertical angle to this red 85 and it corresponds to the black 85. So for two different reasons, it's 85 degrees. Now, the angle to the right of this red 85 here in this upper right-hand corner, these two angles form a line. So their sum is 180. So if you take 180 and you subtract 85, you're left with 95 degrees. So this angle up here in the upper right corner, 95 degrees. You see the angle below it, it's vertical. It's a vertical angle to the blue 95, so it's 95. This blue 95 is an exterior angle, isn't it? And this angle right here is an alternate exterior angle to the blue 95. And those two are congruent. So this angle is also 95 degrees. All right, so you've got all of these angle measures for a bunch of different reasons. Corresponding, vertical, linear pair, alternate exterior. If you look at these two right here, these are same side interiors. This 95 and this 85. Those two sum 180. All right, so all of these rules, or you're going to start using all of these rules to solve these problems for these variables. The key is to identify the angle relationship and then solve for the angle. Any questions? All right, your assignment for today is going to be on page, it's going to start on page 183. Problems 8 through 10. And then on page 184, 24 through 29. And in all of these, you need to show your work. All right, you're going to be solving for variables, so you got to show your work.